Hello, friends, and welcome to today's
Hello.
episode of Booked. I'm Saffron Asteria, and I'm joined today by Grant Aaronson. Is it Aaronson or Aaronson?
Aaronson.
Okay.
It's not actually my real name, so you can pronounce it however you like.
Oh, wait, it's polite to get it right, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I suppose when I came up with it, I thought Aaronson. But if someone wants to pronounce it Aaronson, I'm not going to take issue.
Excellent. I had to spell it like Aaronson in my head, otherwise I couldn't get it right. So there goes a little insight for you. So, thank you for joining me on the show today. It's been a long time coming. I think it was like a year ago or something that I created the author feature for you on idiosyncrasy. And these interviews, I had like a really, really long list of people I wanted to speak to. And I was like, I can't make people wait a whole year to come on a show nobody's ever heard of. So I've been doing all these shows and doing like 3 a week, and now it's just been blazing by. So that's been fun. But yeah, thank you for making it on the show today. Before I get you to tell us a bit about your work, Sarah New is here, and she always asks a Womble question at the end of the show, and she can't make it to the end today, so she's introduced the Womble question early. So her question for you, and this is related to your book,
right?
Which Womble would join the Warlocks Council?
Right. Well, I haven't seen the Womble since I was a child, but was Orinoco the mischievous one?
I don't know.
I want to say Orinoco, but I could be completely wrong there. I think he was the mischievous one, so he would probably be on it.
It's got a cheeky name. Yeah, I imagine so. Excellent. I love that. Now that's going to be in history. So if they ever bring back the Wombles and they have the Warlock Wombles, they know who the leader's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. We've also got Grant Matheson here. Hello, how you doing? So, apparently that was the right answer.
Okay, brilliant.
Excellent. That was a smooth answer. Usually people panic because I interview a lot of Americans and they have no idea what's going on. And it's very funny. So, for those who don't know you or your work, could you tell us a bit about your book?
Yeah, so it was an idea I had, because obviously I read a lot of fantasy when I'm escaping from life, as we all do. And I had this idea for a more sort of 16th century or 17th century early stage industrial revolution fantasy, rather than the more medieval setting where most fantasies set. It's not the first idea I've had for a book, but normally after about a week, I get bored of the idea and stop thinking about it. But this time the idea stayed in my head for another week and then another week. And then I thought, well, I better start writing some of this stuff down then, or it's just never going to leave my head. So I just started scribbling stuff down. First, I made a little plan, of plot and character. And I thought, well, I've got the plan now. I'll start writing it at some point, but I probably never will, because I always have these ideas that I never start. But then I did start writing it, and on and on. And as it is with the first book, it's always in your head, well, I'm probably the only person that's going to read this, so it doesn't matter if it's not very good. I'll just carry on with it because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think maybe 3 or 4 months it took me to write the first draft. And once that was done, I thought, well, it's finished. I might as well send it off to some publishers. And this one, Austin Macaulay, got back to me and offered to publish it. So
that's a pretty cut and dry situation.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So in terms of your process, so you spent a few months writing it. Did you go through like editing phases? How did that all work?
Well, Yeah, sort of beyond, apart from just correcting spelling errors, most of the editing didn't come until after the first draft, because I thought, I was thinking, oh, as you do when you're writing, you get thoughts going, oh, I'm not sure this particular part of the story makes sense, or if this character is particularly any at all believable. But again, you think, well, I'm probably the only person that's going to read this, so it doesn't matter. And then after it's finished, you reread it, or I did reread it, and changed a few things, added some things, got rid of some things, and the only real bit of writing advice I heard that I took on board, which was, I can't remember where I heard it, but it said everything in your book needs to either move the plot along, develop character, or reinforce the themes. So obviously, because it was my first book, I wasn't even thinking about themes. I was just thinking about make sure this makes sense and make sure, this character doesn't do something that, you haven't established they would be likely to do before.
Yeah.
So it was mostly a gutting process, the editing process, to be honest with you. I think it was about 50,000 words longer, the first draft, than what ended up going out. So,
wow.
Well, I don't want to say cut, because I might use some of those ideas for another book at some point.
You can say trimmed.
Let's say shelved.
Yeah.
I shelved a few things. But
yeah, I think that's one of the pieces of advice that I've learned over the, I'd say years. We're just on the cusp of 2 years of doing all of this.
Yeah.
Is that if you remove anything from a story, or if you like scrap anything, to never get rid of it, because you could use that for something else. So have you used any of that stuff for the second book that you're working on at the moment?
A few bits, more not really storylines, but there were what do you call them, if I'm trying to sound professional, action scenes, sword fights and gun fights, but that were fun to write, and I had to kick myself to remove them from the first book, because I thought, I really enjoyed writing that, I don't want to remove it. And then you have to think, yeah, it's fun to read or fun to write, but it doesn't really do anything for that particular story. So somewhere on my computer there's a file entitled Rejected Ideas, which is basically about those, well, among other things, it's notes I've made, but it's also, that 50,000 words that got cut from the last book. Or I say the last book, the first book, the pre-written one.
Yeah, but it sounds much better if you say the last book, because people are like, oh, maybe there's more. But one is still amazing, and also you're working on the second one at the moment, I think.
When I can, yeah.
So it's like, there are so many people that set out to write a book and never finish it, let alone put it out there into the world and let strangers look at it, which is the most scary thing ever, other than like the obvious terrifying things like spiders and war and stuff. But like, that's a really scary and vulnerable thing to do. So you said a couple of times that you didn't expect people to read it, or you wrote it because you didn't think anyone was going to have a look at it. What made you think, I'm going to send this off to publishers so that people will read it? Was it always the
well, it's a good question. I've not really thought about it. I suppose it was the 4 months working on it, and I hadn't really told anyone I was writing a book. So if I send it off to publishers and it all gets rejected, I don't have to tell anyone.
Oh, good tactic.
But it's apart from a few very close friends and family members who had a look at it. But I wasn't it wasn't something I talked about with sort of people who I wasn't close to. So I thought, well, if I get a mountain of rejection letters and people telling me I'm awful, nobody has to know.
This is true. This is true.
I can just keep it quiet.
Especially with a pen name.
Yes, yeah.
That's smart. I like it. So did you send off like your full book to publishers? Was it different for each one? Did you many of them?
So some of them asked for a whole PDF of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the usual things you'd expect, like a synopsis, excuse me, and I think it's called a query letter. I haven't done it in so long, I've forgotten the whole thing. I should have been reading this before I came on. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think there was one. This wasn't a publisher. This was a literary agent, and it was. I think they asked for either the first 50 pages or the first 3 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent them a PDF of that. I didn't. They got back to me a few weeks later, saying, very politely, to be fair, but saying no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, regrettably, I did actually, about 6 months after that rejection, look at the PDF I'd sent, and I'd realised I'd sent them a very, to my shame, I'd sent them an early draft that was spelling errors.
Oh my god!
Not surprised. It's quite surprising they were polite in their email.
Yeah,
given all those spelling errors. But,
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I'll have to create another pen name if I send to that agent again.
Yeah, I would, just in case. I don't know if they keep like a instant reject list for people that they
new email and a different name.
But I also imagine that if you're an agent or a publisher and you have people querying like new books, you have to assume that that writer will have developed their skills anyway. So although it was an accident, I'd like to think that the humans that are looking at it will be like, well, let's give them another chance because, people hone their skills. And I mean, this having been your first book that you've finished writing and you did it in such a short period of time, how quick was it for you to get picked up by a publisher?
Quite a while.
Years or months?
I'm trying to think about it, because I sort of spent 2 or 3 evenings on the trot looking at publishers and sending it off. And then as soon as I'd finished with that, my mindset was like, right, I want to forget about it now, because I don't want to spend you're going to kind of go mad if you just sort of check your email every 5 minutes every evening, hoping someone's written back. I think it was probably in total, from starting writing to hearing back from Austin Macaulay, maybe a year and a half.
Is that it? That's not long.
No.
That's really fast. That is really fast. I mean, I speak to authors who, like, they spend obviously years and years and years like sweating over their work because of whatever reason. Life gets in the way. Sometimes you can't get the concentration. Like, I'm finding every excuse not to finish mine. That's fine. That's another issue for another day. But then
I'm doing it with my current book at the moment.
My house has never been so clean. Every time I think today's going to be a writing day, I must have organised my socks first, though, otherwise I won't be able to concentrate. That's kind of how that goes. But to also find a publisher that's very fast. So that's really cool. Did you ever consider self-publishing?
I did. That was going to be. I can't remember what goal I'd set, but I think I said to myself, because I was assuming feedback as well, because I was told that when you write to agents and publishers, they might tell you why they're not picking you up.
Okay.
And providing the feedback's constructive, I'm happy to listen to it. But so I thought, I'll wait to get rejected, and hopefully I'll get some good feedback. Then maybe I'll send off to a few other different publishers after taking that feedback on board, and then if that fails, I'll probably look into self-publishing.
Well, at least that's always a plan. Like if the like agent or publisher route doesn't come through for people. But something I asked somebody the other day, and I'd be interested to see what your answer is. So if you, I don't know if you had any like dream publishers, or if you were like, just anyone can take it, I'm happy with it. if you had feedback from an agent or a publisher that asked you to change a really core element of this story for you, do you think you would change it in order to get published, or would you say no, thank you, and move on? If it was a really good deal.
It would depend on the core element.
Okay.
You know, if it was I've never thought about that. Give me a second. It's a really good question.
Okay, I'll give a little example if it's helped. So I noticed that in your like posts where you're like advertising your book, you say that one of the appealing things about it is that the characters aren't morally grey. So if the publisher was like, morally grey characters are really hot right now, we want you to change that. Is that something that would be really important to you? That you'd be like, no, that messes with the whole vibe, or maybe vibe's not the professional word, but it's
no. I think if it was the very main character, I would not be. I mean, I like to say no, I would definitely reject them, but I can't honestly, you know, if they turn up with a big truck of money, I can't honestly say I'd be that moral myself. But in an ideal world, I like to say my very main character, Jack.
Yeah.
No. Other characters, maybe, because I think you know, you can. The other characters, I think, can be maybe not fully, but have a turn, maybe a glance towards the dark side of things.
Interesting.
But, yeah. Not my other characters, I don't think. Again, as I say, if someone turned up with a suitcase of money saying, change this, I don't know if I'd be that dignified.
Yeah, I feel like everybody has a price, and I'm not going to get you to know your price because that's humiliating. But I feel like everybody has a price. But there are some people that I've spoken to that would be like, absolutely not. No, the story is the story. It's going as it's going. And there are some people who their desire to be published by like specific houses or to go with the specific agents, their desire for that to happen far outweighs the story itself and the plot. So it's just an interesting thought experiment, I guess. I'm going to start asking people that more because I find people are like, I have no idea. What? No, because if I say yes, then I look like I want money, but I want money. So it's true. So you have been writing music as a soundtrack for this book.
Oh,
so you're a musician, which I thought was really
failed one,
cool.
But yeah.
You're what? Sorry?
A failed one, but yeah.
It's not a failure because you play music. Okay. There is no failure in the arts. Unless you have a specific thing that you haven't succeeded in, but that's a personal failure. But it's not, there is no way that you can fail at doing art in any capacity, because as long as you're doing it and fueling that creativity in yourself, you're winning, in my opinion. But so why have you chosen to create the soundtrack?
It was more just, I suppose, trying not to sound cynical, it's almost playing the game. I don't like the fact that social media algorithms judge you more on the quantity of your posts than the quality. So I was really just thinking, well, how can I get frequent posts out about this book? And it's not going to take me too long to do, where I could get, in theory, 3 or 4 a week. I've been a bit lax with it recently. But so that was really my thought with it, really, to, what's the word? Economics. Sort of get posts done quickly. Because I think I can't be the only one that thinks as well, you know, I'm guilty of it as much as anyone, but some of the social media posts you have to do to get traction, to get your, not just a book, but anything, to make people aware of anything you've created. Feel a bit, what's the words the kids use, cringy?
It is cringy.
You have to do cringy things to, and I'm not, you know, I've done it myself, so I'm not judging other people for doing it.
I think we all have. We're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, us social media dwellers, I do think like doing something like creating music is like a cool thing to share, and it connects to your book, and you might be able to find like a different audience than if you were just talking about books all the time. And I've noticed, like, and I think a lot of writers have noticed this, that if you ask people questions and they get to answer it themselves, people are more likely to engage in what you're doing. But if you're like, hey, maybe read my book, it's like cricket silence. And it's so humiliating, because you're there like, oh, my heart and soul, would you like to look at it? And everyone's like, no, I don't want to look at that. That looks terrible, or whatever the thing is. But there are some people that just seem to have it. Like, they have the algorithm down. And I don't have that kind of time or brain space to care enough about it. And I really want to leave social media altogether. But like, what else is there? I don't know. Like, have you tried any other tactics outside social media for marketing?
I did try going to a book fair, but I sort of got in contact with them a bit too late. But they said next year I could sort of, set up a table.
Oh, cool. Okay.
With my books, and hopefully a few people will come by. And there is a couple of local bookshops around where I live who have kindly agreed to stock my book.
Oh, fantastic!
In their local authors section.
Oh, that's so nice. So,
I'm so disorganized. I haven't really rung them to chase them up on it and see if it's sold at all. But
Grant, you need to do that. That would be much more rewarding than going on social media, though.
Yeah.
So if you're like, do I go on Instagram all day, or do I call this bookstore? I'd be going for the bookstore and delete the app. But I know that in-person events seem to be quite popular. And from the authors that I've spoken to in the past, obviously dependent on, where you are in the world and what kind of event you go to, they find that connecting with the readers or potential readers is like much more rewarding. You might not sell as many books as you might do online, but if you're able to like actually have a conversation with people and tell them a bit about the story and like what the motivations behind it are, then I don't know, those connections are more meaningful, but it depends what your goal is, I guess. But yeah, if you had to pick like who your target audience is for this book, who is this for?
I mean, I'd like to say the cringy thing and say, oh man, it's for everyone. Anyone can read it. But that's not the reality of it, really, is it?
It never is.
I mean, I suppose it's sort of, I didn't really realize it till I was rereading the first draft, but I thought, oh, this is a bit like the sort of thing I'd have enjoyed as a sort of, late teens, early 20s, which I found out the other day, early 20s is apparently not young adult. Young adult is late teenagers. So I found out the other day.
That's a shame.
So I've been calling it the wrong thing.
Oh, well.
All this time. But yeah, so I suppose well, I don't know, because I thought generally it would be a sort of book boys would enjoy, although not to say women can't read my books. Everyone can read my book because I want the money. But,
that's a good reason as any. That should be a reel. You should do that as a reel. Just say,
I'll think about
boys would probably like my book. Women can read it too. Anyone can read it. I just want the money. You should just do that and see how that works.
Absolutely.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's for everyone. But yeah, I suppose late teenagers, early 20s. It's sort of, I mean, I think of it, I know the people who have put reviews on Amazon and Goodreads seem to say that it's got politics in it, and I suppose there is, but it's not sort of deeply nuanced politics. I think it's at its core, I think it's an adventure story, which is, the sort of, how to put it, it's more like, I suppose, The Hobbit than Lord of the Rings. It's just a fun story about a guy that goes on an adventure like The Hobbit.
Yeah.
As opposed to Lord of the Rings, which is equally good, but it has all these
extra bits,
and lots of world building and deep lore, as the nerds say.
Well, there are some politics in this book, so
yes,
it's like based around like political figures and some power struggles and things like that. So, did you model it on like the politics that you know in England, or is it like a totally fictitious political system? Like, where did that come from?
It's more. I mean, I don't know if I achieved this, but while it's political, I wasn't trying to make any sort of preachy statements with it.
Yeah.
Either to current day or in the past. It was really inspired. I was reading a book on what was called the Glorious Revolution, which was, for anyone who doesn't know, around, I think, terrible head for dates, but I think 1689. King James, who was the last Catholic king of England, or King of England and Scotland as we were then, was overthrown, and his sister, Queen Mary II, I may have got that title wrong, but I think it was Mary II, and her husband William were put on the throne as Protestant kings, which is, according to this book, I'm not a historian, so I don't want to be giving out false information, but according to this book, that is when, in the UK at least, it was finally decided that Parliament would have more power over the governance of the country than the king or the monarch at the time. What was sort of interesting about it is that it more or less happened with, very little battles and very little bloodshed. There was some. And I thought, that would make a sort of fun story, but I'll put it in a fantasy setting, and because it was the 1600s, I'll make it more of a muskets and rapiers story rather than a knights on horseback story. And that was just the initial idea, and then, as I said, that idea sort of grew and grew. And I didn't get bored of it after a few weeks, so I thought, I'll start writing it down and fleshing it out.
It's always a good sign when you actually continue doing the thing.
Yeah.
So the magic system in this particular book, and I imagine it will go across the series. I don't know how long the series is going to be. I'll ask you that in a bit. But tell us a bit more about the magic system in this, because it's very different to anything that I've ever read before.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. It more comes from, I knew a lot of what I suppose we call alternative people growing up, who sort of believed in the magic of crystals and incense and stones. And I used to know a guy who hated shoes.
Oh, fantastic.
He believed they were... he was a lovely guy, so I feel a bit bad about basing my villains on him. But, just thought, wouldn't it be, fun if, they were sort of... no disrespect to alternative people, but they're basically sort of almost like hippies, the warlocks, with their bare feet and their gemstones. So that was mainly where it came from. And, I hate to admit how lazy I was for doing this, but, I just thought I need a stone that allows them to create fire. The first thing that comes into my head, Ruby does that. I'm glad I made notes, because while I'm writing the second book, I need a stone that allows them to mind control people. Amethysts are quite distinct. I'll use that.
I was thinking amethyst when you said that.
Yeah.
So I was like, purple. Purple is psychic. That's the color of psychic. I think Pokemon.
Oh, I'm glad you agree.
How much of this has come from Pokemon?
No, honestly, none of. At least consciously, none at all. I think I played Pokemon. I think I played that first one on the Game Boy when it came out 30 years ago. But yeah, I've not really engaged much with Pokemon.
You should. It's amazing. I love Pokemon very much. But anyway, but yeah, that it made me think of Pokemon, because the psychic Pokemon are represented with purple energy, and the fire Pokemon are red energy, rubies, amethysts. Anyway, Please continue.
No. Oh, I have to look into that. Just double check I'm not going to get sued by the company.
You won't. They don't use gemstones like that. It's okay.
Oh, right.
You're
okay.
Safe. You're safe. They're just energy cards. Well, I played the card game, but yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so I think it's when I haven't reread the book for a while, but I think it's in the second chapter where Jack meets Eva Valmont, the protagonist, not the protagonist, the antagonist, for the first time, and he sort of recognizes she's a warlock by the fact that she's not wearing shoes. And that sort of came from that sort of, a lot of alternative people sort of feel more connected to Mother Earth, so to speak, if they're not wearing shoes. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if these magical people need to walk around barefoot in order to use their powers? Because wearing shoes would cut them off from the earth and nullify their powers.
So when you were, so you said that you made notes when you were creating this magic system. Are you particularly organized as a writer? Like, do you have, do you draw maps and stuff? You're shaking your head.
No.
Things.
Again, I do make notes. The notes are not in the least bit organized,
Okay.
I hope I'm not the only writer that sort of looks back through his notebooks 3 weeks later and go, what is this?
No, there are dozens of us.
Yeah. But the main notes were just chapter 1, this is going to happen, and it was a sentence. Chapter 2, this is going to happen, summarized in a sentence. And then I'd sit down. I'd like to say every day. I think it was every day. And I think I just got strict with myself and said 2,000 words tonight, or 2,000 words this afternoon. Which wasn't always 2,000 great words, but it was always 2,000 words, which was, at the time, I was quite proud of myself. Obviously, when you reread the first draft, you go, nope.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? But
I mean, even writers that are like really late into their career, guaranteed they're able to create a first draft dumpster fire. Like that, it's not supposed to be finished. You're supposed to go through the process, and it's just the case of like, however you work best is the way that you should work. And you might find that as you're writing more books that you change your tactics and the way that you put pen to paper, or however the method is that you work in. But eventually you'll find a groove, and you might be like, oh no, I do want to be more organized. Or you might be like, nope, sticky notes are the way to go. Or maybe I need a little whiteboard, or something like that. So have you changed the way that you're writing with your second book, or are you going through the same process as you did before?
I have changed, but I've also not, which is such a non-answer. I'm sorry, but I'll elaborate.
Brilliant.
So the main thing I've done,
go ahead,
is so I think I finished the first draft of this book, I think just before Christmas.
Okay.
And I've taken I haven't looked at it yet, not out of any bad reason, just because I'm still writing, but I'm not working on that for now. I'm just sort of letting it, what's the word, simmer, I suppose, while I think about it. I will probably get back to it after Easter. So that's the main thing, because I think after the first book, I sort of finished the first draft and tried to say, at least wait a week before you look at it again, because you don't want to reread something you've just finished. I think I lasted about 3 or 4 days, which in some ways I was quite happy about how motivated and eager I was, but I think it was probably too soon. I should have probably, left it for another week or so. Talking about the notes thing earlier with this second book, I do wish I'd done more extensive planning. Like with a lot of sequels, the story I'm finding in the second one has expanded quite a bit, which means the plot. I I dare not use the word convoluted, but it's certainly got a bit more complex.
The plot thickened.
Yeah, exactly. The plot thickened. Which is, so I should have probably put a bit more planning into that, because I have made a bit of a tangle. Yeah. A fixable tangle, I keep telling myself, but a bit of a tangle of the plot, which is probably going to take me a bit more time to fix than it did with the first one, because, the plot of the first one, it's not super complex, It's almost a typical sort of, like The Hobbit or a basic fantasy story. The main story is a guy has to go on a quest. He goes on a quest, and then he completes his quest. Whereas this one, it's more... I'm trying to think how to explain it without giving too much away, but it's a much more... I mean, geographically, it's a more static plot. It mostly takes place in Greylanmouth, the capital. There's not really any quests going on. So the main challenge was sort of, how do you keep the characters static and not create a very boring story? So, but I focused so hard on trying to not make it boring that I didn't think about making the plot make sense. But it will.
It will. Yeah. The thing is, as long as you're happy with it before it gets in people's hands, the general public, then that's fine. It doesn't matter what it looks like now, as long as you're continuously working on it, or at least thinking about it. Because I think even if you're just like ruminating, you're still working on the book. Just you don't have to be in the file or whatever.
Yeah.
So with the second book, so this is Treachery, Treason, and Trickery.
Yeah.
Do you have a planned release date? Are you going to be querying with agents again? Are you going to be publishing with the same publisher? Do you have any set plans for it?
I don't. Nothing set in stone. I won't certainly think about letting anyone else look at it until I'm happy with it, as you do with writers. And it's the nice thing about being an indie author, or a bad thing, depending how well you work with deadlines. But I don't really have any set deadlines to work with. Obviously, I don't still want to be working on it in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but I don't have to sort of worry, I've got to get this done by X time. I've just got to get this done. I like to set myself deadlines, so I'll sort that chapter out by the end of the week, or I'll make a decision on what I want to do with that chapter by the end of the month, but nothing set in stone that I have to panic about. Which is nice. Sorry, I've completely forgotten the question. What were you asking me?
That's fine. Is whether you had set a set date for the release, but it sounds like you don't have a specific date. It's ready when it's ready.
It's ready when it's ready. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So before I start winding down the episode, there are two questions I always ask every guest.
Yeah.
So the first question that I ask is, what does success look like to you as an author?
I mean, I would be happy with, strangers, just more than a dozen strangers writing to me saying, read your book, enjoyed it. Not to say I would turn my nose up at millions of sales and lots of success, but being realistically, I'd be happy to settle for, a small community of strangers who got a good bit of escapism from my writing. I'd be happy with that.
Cool. I think people are often very shy about answering that question because, in the back of their mind, they're going, Netflix deal, and they don't want to say it because it sounds like it's too much of a reach. So I have a question here from Grant, a different Grant, not you, obviously. Before I ask my final question, so do wolves feature in this book? And if not, why not? He's got to think about wolves.
No, that's great. They do not
yet.
I'm sorry, Grant. I honestly can't answer why not. It was, yeah. I'm trying to think. I know wolves were once a thing in Britain. I would like to say that because the time period of history I was thinking about didn't really contain wolves, but I'm not sure. They might have been around in England still in the 17th century.
They may well.
I can't remember. But
well,
yeah, they just weren't in my mind.
You could, for other Grant in your next book, just put like one line that says, "I think I just saw a wolf. Oh wait, no, that's not a wolf. They've been dead for years," or something.
Yeah.
You
well, if it, what possible is I used to play Warhammer 40,000. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all.
Familiar with, but never played.
No. So my army when I played it was the Space Wolves. So I've got no excuse for not putting wolves in.
There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, Grant.
You're still in the drafting phase of book 2, so I'm it's not too late. You could still make that change if you wanted to.
That could be. Yeah.
So the last question that I always ask each guest is if you could go back to the time when you first started writing, because I know that you had these stop-start moments.
Yeah.
So when you first started thinking like, I'm going to write something, if you could give yourself any advice like back then, what would it be?
So plan a bit more
to
avoid hitting walls. Yeah, plan a bit more, and I think just write for enjoyment rather than anything else. I'd write, bit of a cliche, but I'd rather write 20 awful books than one bestseller. Although I'm probably lying, but
I know what you mean. Like, as long as you enjoy them, rather than writing a whole book that you hated the whole way, just because it's going to sell well. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Just and enjoying the process of writing. I mean, it's one thing that 6 months where I was working on the book. I looked at my bank account at the end of it and thought, oh, there's more money in there than there usually is. Oh, because I've not been going out. I've just been sat inside most days at the computer. So that was always a nice thing to. Yeah, it's good for your bank balance.
It is.
It's a very affordable hobby.
Until you publish.
And
want to market. But the process of writing can be free. Technically, you could publish for free. Technically.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's been lovely to learn about your process and your book, and I wish you all the luck in the world for your second book. And if anybody's interested in reading, I have to say this slowly because I'm going to trip up on it. Sovereignty, Servitude, and Sorcery. Then the link is here. If you have a phone and you're looking on another screen, you can use the QR code, or there is a link to purchase the book in the description below. So go look at it, basically. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you everyone who is watching this on replay. And don't forget to subscribe and like, because I have to ask that apparently. Otherwise people don't do it. So please, that'd be amazing. But thank you again, Grant. And I will see you on the other side.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye.